Hello friends, today we are going to present live workshop on parenting skills. तो जैसे हम देखते हैं आजकल बच्चों में बिहेवियर इश्यूज काफ़ी आते हैं, तो अगर अच्छे पेरेंटिंग स्किल्स हैं और पेरेंट्स छोटी छोटी चीज़ों का अगर ध्यान रखें तो बच्चों की फ्यूचर में आने वाली बिहेवियर इश्यूज को प्रिवेंट किया जा सकता है। तो आज हमारे साथ हैं मुनिया, शी इज सीनियर साइकोलॉजिस्ट इन अथीना बिहेवियरल हेल्थ। एंड ये जो वर्कशॉप है हम अथीना बिहेवियरल हेल्थ जो सेक्टर 47 गुड़गांव में है यहाँ कंडक्ट कर रहे हैं। राइट, थैंक्स डॉक्टर श्रद्धा टू ऑर्गेनाइज दिस वर्कशॉप ऑन सच ए शॉर्ट नोटिस। सो मुनिया, कम हियर एंड स्टार्ट योर प्रेजेंटेशन।
First of all, thank you all for joining the presentation in spite of the busy schedule and heavy rainfall. I know it was a hassle, but it is an important event. So thank you all for coming again. So I am going to address various issues in relation to child and a parent. So the first issue I am going to address is communication. So what do you think communication is? Any
talking to your child, discussing.
Okay, good. So communication is how you impart information, how you exchange information. So this is a communication. Like I'm talking and you guys are listening, you are paying attention to me. So this is a way of communication. Okay, and just like any other issues, communication is also effective and both non-effective. So I'd like to show you what is good communication and what is bad communication. So I'll be demonstrating that with a role play. So I need 2 volunteers, please. So first I'll be displaying what is good communication.
पापा देखो मेरे कितने अच्छे मार्क्स आए मैथ्स में।
अरे वाह बेटा, keep it up, keep doing good and you will succeed in life.
So as you can see, this is kind of good communication. This is an example of good communication. Here the child has, the father has appreciated the child. The child feels like the father is, the child is being listened to or heard to. It is an open communication. If the child has any problem, the child feels like, he can trust his father, can trust their parents. And if they have any issue, they can directly, make a one-on-one conversation without even hesitating. So now I'll be showing you an example of bad communication.
पापा देखो मेरे मैथ्स में कितने अच्छे मार्क्स आए देखो।
अभी नहीं बेटा, अभी नहीं, प्लीज अभी नहीं, आप जाओ, अभी मैं काम कर रहा हूँ, प्लीज गो।
आप तो मेरे को भी सुनते ही नहीं हो।
So this is exactly what bad communication looks like. The father is in his own zone. मतलब सुन नहीं रहे हैं, like whatever is the child is to say. So what do you think is good communication helps? Okay, so the good communication helps in the overall social and emotional development of the child. The way you communicate with your child is how they form a perspective about themselves, how they evaluate themselves. Like for example, we have seen an example of bad communication. बोल रहे हैं कि you're not good for anything. For example, कि तुमसे कुछ नहीं होगा. Then the child forms a perspective that कि I am good for nothing. No matter how hard I try, मेरे से कुछ होने वाला नहीं. And good communication also leads to build trust in the child and also between the parent and the child. So आगे जाके it helps in forming a relationship with the child, relationship with other person. So now we'll be talking about consequences. What do you think are the consequences of bad communication? Would you like to contribute? Anybody? Okay. So bad communication leads to loneliness. अगर communication ही नहीं है, अगर communication में gap है, अगर communication में कोई crack है, it will lead to loneliness. And further, it might also lead to depression. और अगर emotional bonding नहीं है, ठीक है, तो it might have, the child might have trust issues in the future. So it in turn impact the development of a relationship in the near future. And what do you think are the other consequences of poor communication? Anybody would like to contribute?
What?
What are the consequences of poor communication?
डिस्टेंस हो जाता है पेरेंट्स और बच्चों में.
Okay, that's a good point. Anybody?
कंफर्टेबल नहीं हो पाते हैं
Okay, again, good point. The child might also face issues like anger issues, irritability, क्योंकि है नहीं कोई सुनने के लिए, है ना? And the child might have various other stresses in school. For example, not being able to adjust in school, you know, not being able to learn, learning issues हो सकते हैं, but communicate करने के लिए कोई है ही नहीं, ठीक है? तो इसीलिए the child might be, you know, irritable, anger is a cry for help. वो बताना चाह रहे हैं कि there is something, but कोई available नहीं, ठीक है? So I'd like to give you few takeaways that can help you, you know, improve the communication between you and your child. First is be there for your child, listen to them, okay? Empathize with them without being judgmental. Don't criticize the child. ये नहीं कि you know कुछ problem लेके आया और बोल रहे कि तुझसे नहीं होगा, you are good for nothing. ऐसे उनसे कि जब ऐसे होते हैं तो you know अपने लिए एक नेगेटिव पर्सपेक्टिव हो जाता है, डेवलप हो जाता है, ठीक है? एंड अगर ये फर्दर होते रहेंगे, इट माइट ऑल्सो लीड टू डेवलपमेंट ऑफ एनी काइंड ऑफ मेंटल इलनेस. फॉर एग्जांपल डिप्रेशन हो गया, अगर ये परसिस्टेंट हो गया तो डिप्रेशन हो गया, एंड देन द चाइल्ड माइट हैव you know adjustment issues. The child might have difficulty in forming a relationship in the future. Okay, if you have any questions regarding communications, then you can ask.
Is it good to be too friendly with the child, or what is the best way?
So, it is good to be friendly, but there need to be a boundary. क्योंकि being over friendly means they're crossing your boundary. क्योंकि एक kind of it might lead to also disrespectful हो जाते हैं कभी कभार, क्योंकि child बच्चे को पता नहीं है कि आप किस हद तक जा सकते हो. So there need to be a specific boundary जो कि clear cut होना चाहिए. Okay. Any other questions?
Sometimes if I want to talk, but still parent doesn't have time. What can we do then?
In this case, we need to make a time. You as a parent should make a time. Be it, you know, eating dinner together, okay, and watching a movie together, going out on a weekend में movie देखने गए या फिर anything shopping. You have to make a time for that. अगर आपको relationship, you know, you have to, if you want to build a good relationship with the child, you have to make it a time. This should be your priority. Any other question before I go on to the next topic? So the next issue I will be covering is bullying. So what do you think bullying is? Yeah, anyone?
So bullying is basically when a child is basically, there is also bullying side of bullying and bullying people online, saying hurtful things to them and basically hurting them in any way possible, which can lead to other issues.
Okay, very good. So bullying is any aggressive behavior in which the perpetrator or the bully, they try to, you know, they try to repeatedly and intentionally hurt other people's emotion. Be it, you know, like she said, passing negative comments, hitting, pushing. So it can be seen in the digital platform also. For example, say Instagram, Facebook, any gaming platform also. Like it can be seen in the form of, you know, passing critical comments, posting irrelevant, inappropriate pictures and videos, and you know, creating a fake profile and messaging other people on their behalf. So I would like to display or explain what exactly is bullying and the impact of bullying. So I need a volunteer for that. Anybody? Come, please. Hi, your name? Okay, Abhi, I want you to hold this paper. Okay. Imagine this is a child. Okay, now I want you to crush it. Crush the bird. Okay. Now put it on the floor. Throw it. Okay. Now stomp on it. Jump karo. Listen. Kick it. Okay. Now can you please bring it back? Okay. Now just open it. Is it the same as before?
No.
Do you see any changes?
Yeah.
क्या है change?
It's like before it was delicate, it was like, and now it's like crushed even though I've opened it again.
Okay, good.
And it just feels like it's not the same anymore. You can't change it back to the original.
Very good. Now say you're sorry.
I'm sorry.
Now say you didn't mean it.
I didn't mean it.
Now you say you didn't do it intentionally.
I didn't do it intentionally.
Will it change?
No.
Okay. So this is the impact it has on bullying. It leaves a permanent marks. As you can see, thank you. As you can see, there is still, it is still crushed. Okay, it leaves a permanent mark on the child. Okay, so this is how the bullying impacts on the child. So now I'll be talking about some signs, how to identify if a person, if the child is getting bullied. So what are the signs and symptoms? Anybody would like to contribute? How we can identify if a child is getting bullied? Won't believe aloud. Okay.
Child becomes silent, irritable.
Yes.
No concentration towards work.
Yes.
Likes to be more alone. Like, doesn't like to
Mhm.
communicate too much and be social because they're
Yes.
scared of what the other person might do.
Very good.
Scared of going to school.
Yes. Aggressive. Okay. The child will be irritable. The first sign is the child will be irritable. And then there will be frequent mood swings. They will cry for petty reasons. And there will be decline in school performance. Okay, the child would, refuse to go to school. Okay, there could be many other signs and symptoms. So these are the signs and symptoms I covered. And now, what can parents do? How can parents help? Any suggestions? Any contribution? Parents, would you like to contribute?
They can initiate communication with them, right?
Good communication.
Yes, they need to initiate.
Okay. So we have come up with very creative idea. बच्चे होते हैं कि they don't want their parents to be their friends on social media. ठीक है, follow नहीं करते हैं एक दूसरे को. So the creative thing you can do is create a dummy profile ताकि आप बच्चे के जो वो ऑनलाइन जो पोस्ट करते हैं उसको मॉनिटर कर सकते हैं टू ट्रैक और टू ये उनकी जो पोस्ट है बेसिकली उनको मॉनिटर कर सकते हैं कि कैसा ये है डमी प्रोफाइल क्रिएट करके. अनदर थिंग वी कैन डू इज मेक द चाइल्ड हर्ड. ठीक है, मेक द चाइल्ड फील लाइक देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग विथ यू. वट एवर इज हैपनिंग इज नॉट देयर फॉल्ट. ठीक है, एनी अदर पॉइंट्स यू वुड लाइक टू ऐड? Anyone?
In support them, clear them out क्यों bully किया जा रहा है, कौन कर रहा है,
Yes.
identify.
True. Okay. Good point.
I think we should educate kids about, especially about this social media things and all, because this is a virtual world. This is not the real world. Everybody knows about it.
Yes. Yes.
So we can't stop them. But although we want to certain age, they should not, start on this kind of social media and all. But anyhow, they are doing it. So we need to educate them. I think that's the step.
Okay, that's a good point. We can tell them about what are the good sides and what are the bad sides. Okay, and we can also educate them about ensure that the child has blocked and report the perpetrator. Okay, and make sure that the child does not disclose their personal information. For example, say location हो गया, address, sharing contact numbers, etc. And most important thing is keep records, keep a screenshot in case if the intensity is very high. Okay, and so we need a record to prove that this were the messages. Okay, these were the kind of harassment that the victim was facing. Okay, any other questions you would like to ask about bullying?
So is it good कि बच्चे social media पे रहें?
See, we can't stop them because आजकल के digital world हो गया है. तो there are ways we can manage it, like handle it. Just keep the communication so open that child can come to you and share their problems. Like this happens. Any other questions regarding bullying? Okay. Can we move on to the next topic, that is teenage drug? आप लोगों को पता ही है कि this is one of the most important abuse. So substance abuse is the use of any illicit drugs despite the harmful consequences, to the extent that it affects the child's day-to-day life functioning. Okay. So I'll demonstrate an activity to show you how does the substance have an impact on the child. So I have a lighter and I have a glass of water. So consider this as a child. Okay. So now I'll light it up. ये light हो रहा है and there's a spark in it. Now consider this as a substance. So when you drop, when the child consumes the substance, it gradually becomes a habit. So now the child is immersed into the world of substance. He doesn't see anything. His world revolves only around substance. Now you take it out and try to light it. It doesn't light. So we as a parent and as a therapist, what we can do is we can bring back the light and the spark of the child. Okay, that's the role of the parents and the therapist. So how to identify if the child is, getting into substance taking behavior? Any contribution?
Changing behavior,
Okay, like
maybe getting low marks, not more
okay,
concentration.
decline in performance, school performance,
Getting aggressive at small things in the
Yes.
house.
frequent mood swings,
Yes.
problems with the authority.
Change in physical appearance like weight loss or weight.
Okay, good point.
रात में सो गए नहीं है लेट नाइट में रहता है
Getting
Yes.
irritated.
Getting irritated, changes in sleep and appetite,
asking for more money yes
asking for more money,
stealing.
stealing, lying, theft, deceiving. Okay, these are some of the major signs and symptoms. And what can be the reasons for substance abuse? What can be the possible reason for substance
So
abuse?
disharmony at home.
Between the parents, okay.
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure is one of the most important things.
Trying to escape, like, they're in problem at school or
From the reality, if the child is facing any kind of problem, and if there's no good communication between the parent and the child, so it can lead to substance taking behavior in order to release that kind of tension, in order to feel good for that moment. So these are some of the reasons that the child gets into substance taking behavior. Now we'll talk about few takeaways, few things that the parents and the therapist can do. So the first and foremost thing is be there for them. Listen to them. Make them feel like they're heard. Make them feel like they can come to them and talk about their problems, discuss about their problem openly. And second thing is do not be judgmental. Okay, whatever the problem the child is facing, hear them out. Do not judge them. Do not criticize them. Do not ask why question. Ask कि क्या हुआ, what happened, how did it happen. If you start asking why questions, then the child will resist and वो और ज़्यादा दूर चले जाएंगे. There will be a gap between them. And what are the other solutions that you think of can help the child as a parent?
If it is a serious abuse, seek some professional help.
Too. If it's to the extent that the parents feel it's a very challenging task, then we can always take some advice from expertise.
Talk to someone who you trust, the person.
Okay. And
I want to add a few things in the children's substance abuse. So as Mia talked about the substance, two types of substances are there. First is illicit substances. illicit mean which government allowed, like alcohol, cigarette. So these substances are sold in the market, maybe on the license basis, and but it is not available for kids, especially in different states. Different age criteria is there. So like in Delhi, before 25 year of age, you can't buy liquor. So these are the illicit substances. And the bad outcome on health and psychological health is little bit less from these substances compared to illicit substances. So illicit substances are which is illegal to consume or to market. So these are cannabis, heroin, cocaine. So because you can't buy these substances in the market. So these are illicit substances. While we were talking about the behavior change in the child, so we see more significant behavior change when a child is using illicit substances, and the health outcomes are worse in these cases. और जो illicit substance ले रहे हैं, एक तो वो बाई नहीं कर सकते हैं मार्केट से, अगर वो बाई कर भी लेते हैं तो उनका हेल्थ हार्म कम है, लेकिन फिर भी उनको स्टॉप करना जरूरी है बच्चों में, क्योंकि आगे चल के वो बड़ी प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट करते हैं. तो जो बच्चे सब्सटेंस स्टार्ट करते हैं, फर्स्ट दे स्टार्ट इन एक्सपेरिमेंटल बेसिस, लाइक ओकेजनल यूज इन द कंपनी ऑफ फ्रेंड्स. देन दिस यूज बिकम मोर रेगुलर. तो जो हम बिहेवियर चेंज देखते हैं बच्चों में, अगर हम लोग वही स्टेज पिक कर लेंगे कि बच्चे ओकेजनल यूज ही कर रहे हैं, जब तक ओकेजनल यूज को हम एब्यूज भी बोलते हैं, तो उस एब्यूज वाली स्टेज में ही अगर हम पिक कर लेंगे और प्रॉब्लम को आइडेंटिफाई कर लेंगे और उस पर काम करेंगे, तो बच्चे डिपेंडेंट होने से बच जाएंगे. डिपेंडेंट या जिसको हम एडिक्ट भी बोलते हैं, तो एडिक्ट होने से बच जाएंगे, चाहे वो लिसिट सब्सटेंस हो या इलिसिट सब्सटेंस हो. अब जैसे मुनिया आपको बता रही थी कि हमें बच्चों को सुनना चाहिए, वाई नहीं करना चाहिए, वाट के ऊपर फोकस करना चाहिए. तो इट इज ट्रू, वी शुड एस्टैब्लिश कम्युनिकेशन विद द चाइल्ड. डिटेल में उनको सुनना चाहिए, कहाँ से वो प्रोक्यूर करते हैं, मनी कहाँ से आती है, कौन कौन उनके फ्रेंड हैं जो सब्सटेंस ले रहे हैं, उन पे हमें फोकस करना चाहिए. और काफी बार क्या होता है कि पेरेंट्स को जब पता चलता है तो बहुत गुस्सा होते हैं, वो एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर पाते इस चीज को, और बच्चों के सामने बहुत एग्रेसिव भी हो जाते हैं. तो बच्चा जो हेल्प सीकिंग है वो खत्म कर देता है धीरे धीरे अपने पेरेंट्स से. अगर दूसरी ही तरफ अगर पेरेंट्स कोऑपरेटिव होंगे और हेल्पफुल होंगे और कामनेस के साथ अगर बिहेव करेंगे बच्चे के साथ, और उसको काउंसलिंग से या फिर प्रोफेशनल हेल्प दिला के उनका ट्रीटमेंट कराएंगे, तो आउटकम अच्छा होगा. अच्छा, कुछ सब्सटेंसेस ऐसे हैं जिसमें प्रोफेशनल हेल्प की जरूरत पड़ती ही पड़ती है. काफी बार जैसे जो ओपीडी में हमारे पेशेंट आते हैं, तो फैमिली मेंबर्स या पेरेंट्स काफी डिनायल में होते हैं कि प्रोफेशनल हेल्प की जरूरत नहीं है, आप बस थोड़ा काउंसलिंग कर दीजिए. लेकिन काफी बार दे रिक्वायर मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट. तो ऐसे सब्सटेंस जैसे लोग कोकेन यूज कर रहे हैं या कैनाबिस यूज कर रहे हैं या हीरोइन यूज कर रहे हैं. हीरोइन यूज में तो विड्रॉल पेन बहुत ज्यादा होते हैं, तो आप विदाउट ट्रीटमेंट तो उसको ठीक करना इज ऑलमोस्ट इम्पॉसिबल इन मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस. तो ट्रीटमेंट की प्रोफेशनल हेल्प की जरूरत होती है ऐसे केसेस में, और पेरेंट्स को ये चीज समझनी चाहिए. कुछ सब्सटेंस ऐसे हैं जो कि साइकोलॉजिकल हेल्थ को बहुत ज्यादा खराब कर देते हैं बच्चों की, जैसे कि कैनाबिस हो गया, जो हम वीड में देखते हैं, गांजे में देखते हैं, या जो कैनाबिस ग्रुप के सब्सटेंस है उनमें देखते हैं. तो ये साइकोलॉजिकल हेल्थ को बहुत ही इम्पैक्ट करता है. तो पेरेंट्स को इस पर बहुत ध्यान देना चाहिए. जैसे ही वो इसको आइडेंटिफाई करें, प्रोफेशनल हेल्प लें और उसको स्टॉप करने के लिए काम करें. दूसरा और मैं ऐड करना चाहता हूँ, जब कभी पेरेंट्स को डाउट हो तो काफी टेस्ट भी आते हैं, यूरिन टेस्ट आते हैं. अगर पेरेंट्स कंफ्यूजन में है तो वो प्रोफेशनल से मिल सकते हैं और बच्चों का यूरिन टेस्ट कर सकते हैं कि कोई बच्चा इलिसिट सब्सटेंस तो यूज नहीं कर रहा. नाउ मुनिया विल कंटिन्यू फर्दर.
Thank you, sir, for your contribution. One more important point I'd like to add is modeling. When the parents, smoke or take any form of alcohol, any form of drug, okay, in front of the child, it gives the encouragement for the child to, try the substance. वो सोचते हैं कि पापा कर रहे हैं, क्यों नहीं पर ट्राई करो. ठीक है, this is one of the most important, reason why the child, gets into substance taking behavior. So first and the foremost thing is to stop this. Tell the parents, behave in such a manner that it does not impact the child any further, and it gives a, it models the child, it encourages the child to also behave in a good way. Okay. Any further questions?
No.
So I hope it was helpful.
One question I would like to know. If there is certain, if we get to know that might be a child is taking the drug, or it is a foul smell, how should I approach to him?
Okay.
Because asking him directly would, it might offend him, or it might make him away from me. So how should I approach it?
Okay. First, be sure. You have a doubt. It's nice that you have a doubt that you suspect that your child is engaging in such kind of behavior, but notice it for a certain period of time. Then try to make a conversation with the child. Okay, be in, keep the communication open. Do not be judgmental. मत पूछो कि ये स्मेल कहाँ से आ रहे हैं, कैसे आ रहे हैं, क्यों आ रहे हैं, आपने कुछ किया नहीं किया. Just be open. Psycho-educate the child about the substance. What are the possible, harmful consequences? What are the long-term consequences of taking substance? अगर ये भी है, अगर ना भी ले रहे child, but also if you suspect, तो direct पूछने से क्या होता है कि they'll be more defensive और resistant हो जाएंगे, like sir mentioned. Okay, so I will suggest keep for a time that behavior notice them. And look for other signs and symptoms also, not only the smell.
So like you said, kids become aggressive when they have these kind of substances and all. And if after having a lot of conversation and all, and he's not able to understand, can be little bit harsh or tight, just to take care of this? Is this a choice basically?
It depends on parents to parents, but I would suggest कि अगर आप ऐसा करेंगे तो ज़्यादा डिफेंसिव हो जाएंगे. For example, कुछ चीज़ के लिए अगर रेस्ट्रिक्ट करते हैं तो हम और ज़्यादा करते हैं. And we also tend to do that. We also experience that at some point of time. बचपन में अगर हमें बोला गया कि आप बाहर मत जाओ, तो हम ज़्यादा जाते हैं बाहर लेट. तो इसलिए कि if you think that it is out of your control, if it is challenging for you, then expertise are there to help you.
So if one more situation I want to ask. If I know that my child is taking the substance and he's trying to emotionally blackmail me, so in that situation, how can I take a help, or I can now seek some help?
Okay, this is one of the most prominent sign of the people or the kid who engages in substance. So, so my answer will be same that you take the help of expertise. You talk to the child. You try to talk to the child, or make the child talk to anyone who is close with. For example, you consult the friend. जिसके साथ hang out करते हैं. You can talk to their company. जिसके साथ
But what if he's very resistant to it?
So you can't force. Okay. Wait till the child, somewhat motivate the child. उनको motivate करो कि there are a lot of people. This is a common issue. Okay. This is not something the child is only experiencing. There are other child also who is experiencing. So you should motivate. You can motivate the child कि people have come out of it. People have been in the same situation. So that's how you can, make the child come for the session or, to seek any professional's help. Okay, so we'll be ending the session here. I hope it was an informative session, and I hope you can apply some of those points while after stepping out of Athena. And if there is any problem that you would like to address, we are always there to help you. Athena is there to help you.